Hello everyone, and I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another episode of Extinct Bricks Originals! And for this episode, we will be featuring the LEGO compatible custom Jurassic World Pentaceratops. But before we get a move on with this video, I'd like to say thanks to youtube.com audio library for this awesome background music. Please also subscribe and also hit the notification buttons if you have just tuned into Extinct Bricks. Please also follow me on my social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course here in YouTube. I do have a new account in Laika which is only available here in the Philippines but will be global soon. Please support my channel by sending me Laika gems at extinct_bricks. The Guess This PC contest winners will be announced at the end of the video, but first, here's how you can join. Just click on the Extinct Bricks icon that will lead you to the homepage of Extinct Bricks, and then click on the community link to see all my posts. I'd like to see you guess the next PC on Extinct Bricks. It'll be fun! Those frills are so marvelous to look at. Well, anyways, let's move on with the making of the Pentaceratops. Now, the base figure is actually the ceratopsian or the Triceratops that actually appeared on one of my review videos, and I think it's just a perfect base figure for this one since it actually already looks like a Pentaceratops. So, I do have a lot of adjustments in terms of course, the face scope and also where the points of the horns would come about. There's a lot of difference between that and of course the real Pentaceratops. So I made those adjustments accordingly by of course using my handy dandy Dremel tool and of course cutting off with some edges of the horns and of course connecting them back together. After those adjustments have been completed, I then move on with the usual process that I do as with my other customs, such as of course sculpting and then wet sanding, primering, and so on. After the primer has dried, and then of course I will be moving on with the base coating of this figure. And I actually used the Papo Pentaceratops here because I think it's just so colorful. The markings are really good. It's actually somehow reminiscent of the Triceratops Lego that Lego did before. The markings on the frills as well as the head is actually really good. So the base colors are actually this light yellow on the underbelly, greenish tinge to the back of course, and then orangey yellow on the head, the entire head, and then of course an overlay of dark brown markings on the head and dark green markings on the entire body. So here I am just putting in some details on the frill. You can see that I used here a dark brown paint to be able to accentuate all the markings that needed to be accentuated for this particular figure. So you can see here that it's really dramatically changing the whole look of the actual figure. The toy is really good, and so I'm really excited while I was actually painting this one. As I mentioned earlier, I actually used a dark green, actually a pine green on the details on the back. It actually turned really well. So here is how it looks so far with the details. There will be added coloration of course on the horns, the beak, and of course the eyes. And that's it for the making of the Pentaceratops. Let's now move on with the bricks. You can do it, and let's bolt in. Now, counting up the parts of this figure, we have 6 parts to it. So let's start connecting. So let's just connect the head to the body. And once that is done, we can now connect the rest of the parts. So we have here the hind legs. So we have the left and then the right one. And then of course, we have the front legs, the right, and of course the left. Easy breezy! And that completes the LEGO compatible custom Pentaceratops. Now it's time for us to have the closer look. And for the closer look, I have here Moira. She's really excited to be showing you this Pentaceratops. She's actually excited because this is one of her favorite ceratopsians. It has this really curved horn to it and also a really big frill. As I've said earlier in the making of the video, it is actually based off from the Papo toy Pentaceratops in terms of coloration, of course. But I did use references on the Jurassic World Evolution, the game, meaning the scope and everything else is actually from that particular game. Alright, so looking at it very closely, there is a lot of difference between what a Pentaceratops is and what a Chasmosaurus actually looks like. You can see here that the frills are really different. The horns are different. The Chasmosaurus horns points outward and up, while the Pentaceratops actually curves towards the front, very unlike the Chasmosaurus. The Pentaceratops also has this peculiar hump on its back. The reason why for this is because it actually aids in the support of the large head and also the big frill. Okay, so taking a look closely at the Pentaceratops, you can see here the great details, very much similar to that of the Triceratops Lego. The detailing on the paint of the head is actually really good. The frill looks fiery. It is actually painted from the front and also in the back. You can see here as well. For the articulation, you can turn it around like so, very much similar to that of the Lego Triceratops. The legs are also moving. Overall, I think I did a really good job on the painting on this one. It simply is my favorite ceratopsian at the moment in terms of look, and I'm really glad it turned out to be this way. Alright, so let's now have the size comparisons for the Pentaceratops. And in this portion of the video, we will be of course comparing the sizes of a minifigure with that of the toy, and of course comparing other custom figures that I've done so far. And basing it up from this photo above here, the size of a Pentaceratops with that of a human, it actually is quite proportionate to that of a minifigure. And then comparing with, with some of my figures here, we have here the Extinct Bricks Microceratus. Definitely it's smaller than the Pentaceratops. Also, a small ceratopsian as well would be the Extinct Bricks Protoceratops. I have two of here, and they just look really good with the Pentaceratops. I guess it has these quills at the back. It's really playful to look at. And then moving on with another comparison, we have the Extinct Bricks Chasmosaurus, which you've seen earlier in the video. So I'm just highlighting here the main differences of what a Pentaceratops would look like from the front view, from the side view, as well as from certain angles. So you can see here that the horns of the Chasmosaurus is really different. It's shorter, it points outwards, and while the horns of the Pentaceratops actually goes towards the front and curves as well. The frills are also very different in terms of shape and also proportion to that of the head. Alright, so let's move on with the next Extinct Bricks comparison. This is Extinct Bricks Pachyrhinosaurus. This particular figure is actually based off from the Hasbro Pachyrhinosaurus. Scope wise and painting wise, it is where I got the idea from, and is inspired by that particular toy line. The differences in the body would definitely be this hump on the back, as well as with my other ceratopsians as well, such as this one, Extinct Bricks Sinoceratops. Other than the body, the head of course would be different. The face, the horns on it, the frill in itself is very different. It has these two holes on its fenestrae. It doesn't have horns on top of its eyes, and it also has horns on the frills itself. Now here is the Extinct Bricks Saurosaurus, which is very similar to the Pentaceratops. It has this curved horn to it. However, the Pentaceratops has a longer horn, and of course the frills are very much different as well. And here is my original Lego Triceratops. You can see here, I think this was released back in 2005. I was lucky that my aunt actually gave this to me Christmas 3 years ago, so thanks to my aunt. And yeah, so the differences would be they do have the same sculpting on the face. The horns are different. The frill is definitely larger for the Pentaceratops, and of course the body shape is different, as I made it a little bit of course specific to the Pentaceratops itself. Okay, so I'm bringing back all my ceratopsians so far for extinct breeds here, so that we can have a proper roll call. But if you do have any suggestions on what other species of ceratopsians you'd like to see in extinct breeds, go ahead and put it in the comments below. Now for the roll call: Pachyrhinosaurus, Casmosaurus, Sinoceratops, Torosaurus, Triceratops, Protoceratops, Microceratus, and of course, Pentaceratops. Now let's move on to the last looks on the Pentaceratops. The name Pentaceratops actually came from the three Greek words penta meaning 5, ceras meaning horns, and ops meaning face, thus 5-horned face. This large ceratopsian lived in the late Cretaceous period around 76 to 73 million years ago and is part of the Ceratopsidae family. It can grow up to a length of 28 feet, weighed 5,500 kilograms, and with a height of 10 feet. Wow, that's large. Moira is just looking after the Pentaceratops from a distance because horn faces like this one or ceratops like this are quite dangerous actually to handle. And that ends our video on the Pentaceratops. I hope you like it. It's now time for us to announce the guest SPC contest winners, and we have 10 lucky picks, and here they are: Marco Proverini, Dallin, Victor Gabriel, Aiden Stevenson, Ahmed Mohammed, Zionsaurus Place, Enzo Gaming Channel, World Wildlife Conservation, and Oh My Liam, and Let's Get Groovy. Congratulations everyone! Now for our top 10 winners. Allo Studio, Colton Todd,
Top 9,
Parker
Top
Stories,
8,
Bizarre Mars,
Top 7,
Guillermo
Top 6,
Ramirez, Irfan
Top
Redouane,
5,
Pop
Top
Rusty
4,
Barnek, Gazelle
Top
Dinosaurs, Lizards and All, Eduardo
Top 2,
Oliveira, and Thorfigner Gunter.
Top
Congratulations everyone! And I'll see you on the next Guess SPC contest. Also, our babies Moira and Asher has their own vlog now, The Adventures of Moira and Asher. Please watch their videos and subscribe to their channel as well. Thanks for the support everyone! And as we always would say, let your inner dino break roar!